Hey guys, how you doing? My name is Biophile. I am a Smash Bros. Player from the Greater Toronto Area region, and in my spare time I like to analyze sets. This set in particular I found really interesting because, one, I'm a Fox player, so any light set for me is like crack cocaine. It's really fun to watch. And also because people were malding a lot about a Steve player winning a major, and people were like, "Man, Steve, he's so broken and all this stuff." So I have two goals in particular. One is to kind of pick apart why Light lost this set and didn't get the reset, and also to kind of analyze like what makes Steve broken and why I don't think he's particularly a broken character. And yeah, so let's get into it. There are a few things I want to point out that are general trends, and when we get to those, I'll point them out to you.
Probably nobody.
Okay, so the first thing I wanted to go over in this set is Light's usage of Nair specifically, because this is sort of a general trend that we will see causes problems for him throughout the entire set, is specifically how he's using his Nair. So let's come over really quick to the Fox frame data. So we'll see right here, Fox's Nair is -3 on shield, and what that basically means is that he is actionable 3 frames after his opponent is actionable. If this move is done perfectly after landing. What the -4 means is his soft hit if it's done perfectly. And that's really big. These numbers are really, really good to have on a character like Fox because they basically mean you're unpunishable by the majority of the cast if you do these perfectly. And by perfectly, like I said, it's landing immediately after you use the move. Which if you have good timing isn't that hard to do. So we should see that Fox should be unpunishable in like the majority of situations here using Nair if it's used properly, right? Because if we look at Steve, we're going to look at the short hop, macro, fair, and bear, right? These frames have these moves have 4 frames of startup, right? So in addition to the jump squat, we have to take in jump squat because jump is an option out of shield that we can use basically lagless, like relative to being in shield. This move will come out on frame 7. So the first active frame will be on frame 7. So if that's the case, since shield is a frame 1 option in ultimate, Fox can land, wait 3 frames and shield, and still have frames left over to be a buffer between putting up his shield and taking Steve's out of shield on his shield, right? So what we should be seeing is essentially Fox should be unpunishable on Steve's shield if he's using his Nair correctly. So let's see what actually happens here.
From loser side of things, but Acola obviously has been unstoppable for the entirety of the...
Okay, so what happened there, we're going to go back and rewind it. We'll do the frame by frame. Come back a little bit more. Basically what we saw was that Light full hopped. He used soft hit, Nair, on Acola's shield, right? Let's do the quarter speed over here. He used the soft hit Nair on Acola's shield, which is not a good option in this case, and he got punished for it. So when we say he's unpunishable, we kind of assume that's in a best case scenario. This obviously was not a best case scenario because what ends up happening, if we go back, is that he starts the Nair at the top of his jump, right? The first few frames of the Nair are going to be the strong hit, and then it becomes afterwards the weak hit. So right when he makes contact, this here is the weak hit. So if we go back to the Fox frame data, we see that -4 is the frame data of his or is the positivity, I guess, on shield, if that's the correct phrase for it, is the frame data on his Nair on shield for soft hit. And that is if he lands immediately after he hits the shield. So let's come back over and see what happens in the actual set here. So we have shield lag, shield lag, shield lag, shield lag. And then he takes, what is this? I want to start it here maybe. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 frames is when he lands. So we have to take into account 1, that he hit a soft Nair on shield, which is -4, and 2, that he took 5 extra frames to land. So this -4 isn't really a -4. Because he landed it at the top of Acola's shield, this is actually like a -9. So what that means is that for Light, this short hop macro fair and bear out of shield are now Acola's punish option, because they come out on frame 7. Like we said before, frame 7 jump squat plus first active frame is going to be the out of shield basically time in frames, and basically it comes out on frame 7. So frame 7 is less than frame 9, which is what we discussed here as the recovery for Fox, using Nair on shield. And lo and behold, we see right off the bat, short hop fair macro out of shield into another fair. So this is big because this happens to Light a lot throughout the set, like a lot. And he gets punished for it like fairly frequently. It could be by this short hop macro fair. It could be by a footstool anvil, which is even more deadly because Fox is such a light character. And we end up seeing that because of his improper use of Nair in this matchup, and this is most likely due to matchup inexperience, due to his improper use of Nair, he gets punished a lot this entire set. So I'll show some more examples. Okay, so before I do that, I want to give you a quick overview of basically what I just talked about. Essentially, let's say Fox hits Steve's shield with soft hit Nair at the top of Steve's shield. We're gonna let you do frame 0 here is the contact frame, let's say. We're gonna come over here, frame 4. This is when Fox's shield can come out, right? So we have frame 1, 2, 3 in between. And then over here, right, is gonna be frame 7. And this is gonna be when Steve has his hitbox come out for his short hop macro fair or bear. So because of this kind of disparity, Fox's shield comes out here and Steve's hitbox comes out here. So most of the time, Fox is safe if he spaces a -3 Nair on Steve's shield. In this case, we actually see, we're gonna go again here. Oops. Come over here. 0, frame 7, because you can buffer Steve's out of shield options here for Steve. And we have, where is it? Let's see, frame 5 here, let's say. This is how many frames it'll take for Fox to hit the ground. And then we're going to add 1, 2, 3, 4 frames. That's an ugly 9, but 9, frame 9 right there. This is when Fox can shield, essentially. Or the frame after, I would say. Because shield is frame 1, but you have 3 frames of leg. So because of this, Fox's safety on shield is entirely skewed by how high he hits on shield. And we see throughout the set tons of times Fox or Light hits Acola's shield super high up with a soft hit Nair and gets punished for it.
Is definitely showing us the ropes.
Nope, trash commentator.
I mean, you know now, after this tournament. Oh, no, everything.
Okay, so yet again, we have another example of what I just talked about. I'll let you watch it again.
I mean, you know now, after this
So look what happens, right? Light is above Acola on the platform, and his option to pressure Acola from up here is a drop down through the platform, Nair onto shield. This doesn't really matter if it's soft hit or hard hit, just because I think that the frame disadvantage is pretty similar. It's -3, -4. When you have to take into account the fact that if we come on back here, if we come on back, the fact that he's literally landing at the top of Acola's shield, like the very top, like it's harder to get more top than this, right? Don't take that out of context. The fact that he's hitting the tip top of Acola's shield, right, means that he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 more frames. Like frame 9 is when he lands, right? More frames of lag. And then look what Acola does. Put it in super slow motion for you. Short hop, footstool into anvil. And the footstool, the fact that it didn't actually footstool Fox doesn't matter because Light already went for a grab, which gets beat out by that option, basically. But basically, and this is also like Fox, or if Light knew that Acola would have done that, he could have dropped through the platform and then immediately jabbed. And that would have, I believe, covered the option. Jab is frame 2 on Fox, and Acola would have had to be higher than Fox's jab within 2 frames of jumping to avoid the jab. Because takes 3 frames of jump squat, cancels out the 3 frames of shield disadvantage for Fox, and then 2 frames of coming out for his jab, so on the second frame it comes out. So really it would be, yeah, within 2 frames, Acola would have had to clear Fox's jab to not get punished. So if Light did a perfect nair on shield, that could have been a possibility, where he punishes this option, but instead what ends up happening is he falls through the platform, hits him with a soft hit nair, goes for a grab instead, which is, once again, this is just sort of a part of the Light gameplay, or the Fox gameplay, is that you just need to make these reads sometimes, and he just read wrong. But also, he didn't even give himself the best opportunity of succeeding, because the way he set up the pressure was wrong. He gave himself 9 extra frames, if my VOD is correct. I screen recorded this from YouTube. Don't tell YouTube. But yeah, if my VOD is correct, 9 frames of extra landing frames, I guess, extra landing time, on a move that's already -3. So like -12, like, I don't think Steve's grab is particularly fast, but if you were any other character, you could probably get a grab in that time frame. You could do like so much else if you just buffer the option. And what happened here was Acola jumped out of shield, footstooled Fox, and did his down air, which in a lot of cases, like, I wonder if it's rage dependent actually. In a lot of cases would kill Fox, and we see that even later on in the set. So this sort of trend of Light hitting soft hit nair on shield really high up and getting punished for it is like the bread and butter of this match, because Light actually does a really good job when that he isn't getting punished particularly for that. He's not losing his stocks as early. He's getting his main pressure tool off, right? And Acola is getting momentum sapped from him, right? So the fact that this happens, one of Light's major tools is taken away essentially, right? Or not taken away per se, but he's being misused, takes away like tons of opportunities for Light to actually make his comeback essentially. Okay, here's another thing that's actually really crucial in this game. This is all game 1, by the way. This is all just happening in game 1. Like, kind of crazy. So
ready to go for combos off the blocks. You got it.
Acola parries Light's soft hit nair on shield, right? Because to actually parry that, when you know that Fox is going to land on your shield, and then from a fast fall and do nair, the timing is pretty simple, and it's always basically the same, right? So Light, because parrying is such a I guess new mechanic, it wasn't in Smash 4, wasn't in Brawl or anything like that. We still have to kind of get used to the counterplay to when people start to parry, and a lot of people don't. It's not even that prevalent in the meta yet. So the fact that Acola is 1, a lab monster, 2, is parrying Fox's attacks already is like Light is at such a disadvantage relative to the opposition he's been facing, right? And in particular because Steve has such great out of shield options too. We covered before frame 4 start up on his aerial, so frame 7 out of shield, that's pretty good. Like, that's a pretty good option out of shield. So this is big now because Light should be switching up his timing on his nairs, because if this is the case, if he goes for this short hop or full hop soft hit nair on Acola's shield every time, even if he whiffs, Acola can just like, he can basically release his shield button, get the parry if he makes contact. If he doesn't make contact, he can fair out of shield, and I believe I want to say that jump cancels out shield drop lag, so that like even if he doesn't get the parry, he can punish. I want to say that's the case, because that's something I see Light do a lot too. He'll flicker his shield to get a parry, and then it actually gives him more frame advantage. So like Acola has this all like set up basically. He's got it all figured out. It's so impressive watching this, because not only is like Steve kind of a bit advantageous in this situation, right? The fact that he's finding himself in so many great out of shield option scenarios, that's one thing, but also the fact that Acola is reading like Light's timing and everything like that, like, we're not dealing with like, oh, Steve is broken. Like, okay, well, so is Game & Watch in this matchup, because if you did the same thing against Game & Watch, you're gonna get punished too. You're gonna get, like, maybe not as hard per se, right? But Game & Watch will always punish Fox's Nair on shield because they can just buffer an up B, right? Steve, on the other hand, can't, and Light is only being punished for using soft hit Nair on shield because of the way he's using it, which is at the top of Acola's shield, gives him plenty of time to counter with an option, and he ends up getting punished for it. So right here, and then this happens. This is the special here. Diamond Sword. I get hit by this all the time online. I'm not ashamed to admit it. Yeah, so Steve can just carry Fox off the stage with Nair, or with his jab or his forward tilt, whatever it is. He just carries him off the stage, and then if you're holding in, or whatever the DI is, he can go for a fair and then spike you and you die. So like, yeah, get trolled, I guess. Epic troll moment from Steve. Yeah, because of what I just mentioned too, I don't particularly think that Steve himself is like a broken character by any means, right? It's just the fact that Light's primary tool, one of his primary tools in Fox's toolkit, has been neutered because of the usage of it, how it's being used, right? And also, Acola himself is just such a great player, and he's using all of Steve's options in a matchup that kind of, like, in these scenarios seems advantageous for Steve. In that, it, like, if Light was spacing his or timing his Nair on shield perfectly, none of this would happen, essentially, right? He would have so many better mix-ups. He would have more pressure, more consistent pressure. He would have more advantage state. Like, all of this stuff, like, comes off of these instances here, where he's essentially giving Acola free advantage state by mistiming his Nair. So, do I think Steve is a broken character? Like, he's really good, a great character, has great out of shield options, a unique game plan that no one knows how to deal with right now because he's relatively new in the meta. He has, like, he can camp, and he gets, like, stronger from camping. Like, he's Wario. That's pretty cool. Like, that's, you know, it's kind of hard to deal with that sometimes, I guess. Like, he has he's crazy combos. That's another big thing. Massive combo game from Steve. Like, everything about this character is great, but he's light. Fox has a really easy time comboing him, and you can see that throughout the entire set. Maybe that's kind of where Acola's matchup inexperience shows, where he kind of has a hard time getting out of the combos. But at the same time, like, this type of weight for Fox, I think Steve feels fairly close to in combo weight to Inkling, and Inkling is, like, a very easy character for Fox to combo, in my experience at least. So, like, the fact that I'll summarize it. Steve's a great character anyway. The situations that Light consistently puts himself in are advantageous to Steve, and Acola is such a lab monster and great player. He can abuse Light's Fox. Like, kind of, it tells me that Steve's a great character, but Acola is also just on another level right now. And there's also matchup inexperience too for Light's Fox. So anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, this sort of analysis of literally one game of grand finals between Light and Acola at the Gimvitational. I think like the way you use your moves, you have to be very careful about in certain situations, because if you use them a little bit wrong, like in this situation, you will get punished for them. So yeah, to summarize, Light made a lot of minor mistakes that could have been fixed. Acola is a monster. He's so good. And also, Steve is not that broken. He's just being played by someone who is, like, crazy at the game, basically. So yeah, hope you enjoyed, and that is all.